All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking real music, doing what I do in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. So, Deep Purple plans on continuing, even though lead singer Ian Gillan is apparently going blind, according to a couple of articles I've read about this. I dug into this a little bit more, and it's kind of depressing for him, but he plans on keeping on. Yeah. 80-year-old Ian Gillan says band has no plans of retiring anytime soon. He says we're looking a long way ahead. Now, I wonder if Deep Purple would consider replacing Ian Gillan. That would be, I don't know, for many fans, probably a deal breaker. But you never know. They could get Graham Bonnet to be the new Ian Gillan, and that would be plausible, and I think it would work well. Although Graham isn't too far behind Ian as far as age, but man, the guy, he sings like a banshee. If banshees sing, he sings like one. It's incredible. And Ian doesn't sound too bad either. But here's the deal. In a recent article with Far Out magazine, it says, and this was from last year, Ian Gillan discusses possible retirement. It seems like people are like, okay, can you guys hurry up and retire? You're too old. You've been around too long. You've been at the buffet for 4 hours. It's time to go. But no. He's 80 years old, and he's talking about having only 30% vision. And he says that won't get better. It makes life mysterious. The hardest thing is working on my laptop. I can't see anything on the screen unless I use my peripheral vision. I pick up a line by looking at it sideways. He says, but you find a way. You adapt. Gillan then reflected on aging, noting, it's hilarious, this growing old thing. It's a laugh a minute. Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. I walk down the road and I hear something drop off. Clang. That's funny. It's like he's an old car. I think we lost another part. Nothing's changed really apart from the fact I can't pole vault anymore. Other than that, things move a little slower, but nothing's changed. He then looked forward to the future, which is kind of interesting here after saying that the band is going on and looking far into the future. He says, I think the band is rejuvenated since Simon McBride joined us. I don't know. Wonder what Steve Morse is feeling like these days. I mean, Simon is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Simon. But Steve Morse had to leave to take care of his poor wife. And then, of course, they replace him fairly quickly with Simon McBride. And it seems as though they like Simon's style more so than Steve Morse, who I always thought was kind of a weird choice for Deep Purple. I mean, bringing some jazz fusion riffage into a band that was fairly well known for these big, fat, delicious, loud guitar riffs and, some of the most famous music ever. And I thought it was always kind of it gave it a different twist. And I think Simon might be bringing back more of that old school sound, that tone the band had early on with that Richie guy who I was talking about the other day who just canceled his tour. But he says here, we'll see what the future holds. I think probably, this is interesting, human dignity is going to be the deciding factor. Once you start going out and embarrassing people, meaning the fans, with your inability to do what you've done your entire life, then it's time to stop. Okay, so he has some self-awareness, which is good. A lot of these guys don't. He's not hinting at maybe we'll use artificial intelligence to get through the show. No, he's not going to say that. Other people might start saying that because the fans won't notice, right? But until that moment arrives, then we're just gonna keep going. And the band is hard and mean and hungry at the moment. He says, I've never felt it so tight. So here's another guy saying the band is a bit like Kevin Cronin said about REO Speedwagon before REO ended. We've never sounded better. I don't know if that's true about him and the band sounding better than they've ever sounded, but he does sound pretty good for an 80-year-old dude. And like I said, they could get Graham Bonnet to go out there and be Ian Gillan, and that would work in Deep Purple. I don't know. Again, Graham's not too far behind Ian Gillan, so I'm thinking he can see, though. You know, he's only got 30% vision, and it won't get better. By the way, he went on to say, and this is really important, that he still has a sense of humor, and he has a great, dry, British, droll, sometimes fierce sense of humor. I love the line about something falling off and you hear it go clang. Was that a bone? Oh man, growing old. It's not fun. But I like Deep Purple a lot. And I would say to the audience, if you haven't checked out Deep Purple over the last 30 years because radio just gave up on them after Joe Lynn Turner left the band, which wasn't because Joe left, it's because you had that other music show up in the 90s, and Deep Purple puts out an album and it's really good, and people are like, oh yeah, it's Deep Purple. Remember those guys? I mean, there was a big DP resurgence in the 80s. House of Blue Light? Really good album. And Perfect Strangers, one of my favorite albums of all time, man. That is such a great album and was part of my 80s existence. I mean, that album helped me cope when everything else didn't. No, I'm just kidding. It's a really good album, though. And, of course, the 70s, everyone has their favorite, Deep Purple era. But what a great band. Go listen to some of their stuff from the last 20 years. And I think you'll find some good music that you probably hadn't heard, all right? Unless you're a real devotee, which globally, these guys, when they put out a new record, they'll sell 1 million copies, which is kind of unusual for an aging rock band. They're kind of like the Rolling Stones, except the Stones, I think, probably sell a few more copies. I would venture to say that a Rolling Stones Deep Purple tour would be awesome. It would sell out everywhere, and you wouldn't be able to afford the tickets. So that's just a thing that I just thought of. Anyway, folks, before I go, I've been plugging this group here, which you don't have to like this, but I do. And my friend Marcus sent this to me, and it's brand new from a band called Pearls and Flames, another band from Sweden. The album's called Spread Your Wings. And yes, I have the CD in there now, so I took it out of the CD player. I've been listening to it. I got it yesterday. I really like it. So check it out. It's kind of West Coast. It's a bit lighter than Deep Purple, all right? It's not as hard as Deep Purple, but it's great stuff. So anyway, folks, thanks for being here. God bless everyone. And I'll see you soon with more updates as we talk about the end of the classic rock era in real time for people like you and me.